I'll do what I've been doing. I'll go like this.
What's going on, people? Welcome to the Mike and Maggie show. We got a song, y'all. This is our theme song. The Mike and Maggie show. What's going on, people? What's going on? How y'all doing? How you doing? Welcome to the Mike and Maggie show. What's up, Fly Eagles Fly? And however, all right, we're gonna do our greeting a little different today. We're talking about CTE. Everybody know what that is. If you're familiar with football, wrestling, I mean wrestling. I ain't talking about wrestling. Wrestling. What's going on, Atlanta Nation? How you doing? Yo. All right, y'all missed my intro at the beginning, but that's okay. We'll come back with at the end. So, all right, people. So, hope y'all can see me. I'm light bright today with this background for some reason, but you know, we're just gonna move it there with the dark folks on the screen. Who we got on the screen? Who do we have on the screen? Of course, y'all know it is me, Miss Maggie T. And to my side, because I can't tell my directions, who we got?
It's your boy, the one, the only, Mad Mike.
Woo. And who we got there praying at the bottom right there?
Well,
It's the big show.
it's the K-Style.
What's up, people? In case y'all don't know what Mike and Maggie is, Mike and whatever, whichever order, the M&Ms.
Whatever you like, right?
Whatever you like. You know, ladies should be first, but you know, we ain't saying nothing, no. But anyway, this show is basically we talk about serious topics, taboo topics, things we don't really hit on, things that are hidden, especially in NFL and wrestling. Today we're talking about CTE because as of lately, there has just been a lot of craziness going on with this disease. And we're going to bring it back to some old school history of it, you know, because we are big wrestling fans too. So we're going to get in here and get y'all some, you know what, this is the K-Style, with the K-Style is a guest, all right? This is the Mike and Maggie show because it makes sense to be M&M. It will be MMK if we add K-Style. And, you know, it'll be K, you know.
Okay.
Welcome to the K show.
Oh, wait a minute. You got to do it right. You got to do it right.
I don't like that, though.
Hey, look, you got to do it right. Be like, you got to do it right. Like, drugs are bad. Okay.
Okay.
Oh, goddamn, Mr.
What's
Maggie.
good? And the real said CTE is real. I just learned about the Brandon Browner story. Brandon Brown, you know what? See, it's so many stories. We ain't even hit on that one yet. So, but let's get into it. You know, what's up, Dex Diggs? How y'all doing today? But let's get into what we're talking about today. It's real, people. First, but I want to start off with our inspiration and motivation. Like, this is how we start our show off. We give a little encouragement, a little inspiration, because everybody's having a hard time, especially with this. Well, it's letting up a little bit, but this coronavirus got everybody acting a fool and about damn hurt themselves and everything else, confined in these homes. There's a lot of mental illness going around right about now. You know, a lot of people just can't handle it. You know, so I'm gonna give a little bit of motivation for you guys to start your day or your evening. But it is, let me take this off the screen for a minute. The strongest people are not those who show strength in front of us, but those who win battles we know nothing about. It's when you go speak to someone, when you fight those demons, when you seek the help that you need, and you don't let that mental illness take over you. You take control of it. It's not It's not the end. As long as you speak to someone about it, don't live in silence. Speak to somebody, seek help. It's so many people out there that's going through mental health, issues and things like that, especially now it's elevated. You're not the only one, like I speak all about it all the time. I deal with my anxiety. Sometimes I'm up, sometimes I'm down with my depression here and out. But guess what? I know how to cope. I know how to cope with those things. So if you are on Lush, if you're on Matt Mike Sports, come to Lush Exchange because I offer healing, inspiration, motivational videos to kind of get you on your day each and every day. But people, the battle is not yours alone. Speak to somebody, even if it's just a close friend. If you just can't afford a therapist, just don't do this alone. That's all I got to say. I hope that, and you finally do get a shout out. How you do? You get another shout out. Smoke it. That's right. We're going to smoke it because guess what? That's my therapy. I'm going to let y'all know.
That's my homie Ray right there.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and we're gonna get to the Hawks and all that too. We'll squeeze that in some kind of way because I know y'all excited that we clinch, people. We clinch. I'm excited about that. So we're gonna get to that a little bit. This is a little different show though, a little inspiration and motivation. But let's go ahead and get into what we're going to talk about today, and that is the truth behind CTE brain damage. So if anybody's not familiar what it is, you got to think we're going to bring up some people that you probably haven't heard about in quite some time, but it's real. And there's some research and things are going on about the investigation of this because right now they still don't know, there's no cure for it at this moment. It's barely enough treatment, but we're going to tell you how to cope with it in case that's you that's dealing with it, So if it's you, this is where you come in and kind of listen in and take some notes and just, please, it's a brain trauma. So we get ready to get into a wrestler that kind of got some backlash. We'll get into that in a minute, but let's go ahead and get into what it is. Pretty much. What is CTE? It is basically a progressive and fatal brain disease associated with repeated traumatic brain injuries, including concussions and repeated blows to the head. It also associated with development of a dementia. Studies have shown that people who experience this in early to midlife are 2 to 4 times more at risk of developing dementia. So even if you're not getting the side effects right on, later on, it could lead to dementia. I think we had Terrence Mathis on the show that Chris Chandler.
Chris Chandler.
Yeah. Chris Chandler is dealing. I know. Chris Chandler is going through CTE issues and things like that. I know y'all haven't heard much about him, but it's a silent issue, and there are some research happening. There is more research that's be needing to. So we need a lot of players and wrestlers and people to come out about it. And what causes it? Those at greater risk for CTE are athletes who play contact sports. We already know boxers, football players, military veterans, likely due to their increased chances of enduring repeated blows to the head. So pretty much that, and there are symptoms to kind of, look for with CTE as well. And that is memory and thinking problems, confusion, personality changes, and or erratic behavior, including aggression, depression, even suicidal thinking. And we're going to get into some of these athletes to kind of get into a little bit of that. And basically, there is no cure for it. There is none. You just have to live and how to cope with it. And we'll get to that part in a minute. But let's start it off with one of our first athletes. And then we'll get into how you cope with it and everything else. Chris Benoit. the dark side to his CTE.
Oh, this is a big one. This is huge. If anybody knows anything about me, man, he's definitely one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. The dude was just incredible in the ring. I think a lot of you guys will probably remember, was it WrestleMania 20, where he took on Triple H, Shawn Michaels in a triple threat match, where he just, he finally, for a guy his size and for a guy that was, in a business that was just dominated by big men, like he had to do, things that will put his body at risk. And this is one of the reasons why, kind of led up to, that tragic event. A lot of people don't know when you're one thing about, these head trauma and whatnot. It's just repeated blows, and like, you don't have time to recover. And that's the thing. A lot of these guys don't have time to recover. You got to get right back at it. Like back in the day, like there wasn't a protocol. You didn't have to go through a concussion protocol. So these guys were going right back after, like, you get knocked out and doing a match. Like these dudes go right back at it and get hit again. And they have to, like, I don't know a lot to remember. I think you remember this, Maggie. You remember this also when the Undertaker took on Brock Lesnar. A lot of people didn't know, like, he almost died that night. Like he was knocked out. A lot of people didn't know he was knocked out. Like he literally almost died. They had to take him to the hospital. I mean, it was a serious situation, and a lot of these guys don't have time to recover, and it just leads to more and more issues. And this is, man, it's a tough situation. This is a tough topic, but it's definitely needed, because a lot of you, we got kids, we got nieces, nephews, kids. You got some friends that want to get into, whether it's basketball, football, wrestling, like whatever contact sport. You gotta understand these types of things that come along with it, and how you, as a parent and as just a friend, how you can deal with it.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And a lot of people that don't really know his story, he pretty much killed his wife and his son, and then along with himself. And I know me and Mike got a few key points about it leading up to that point. That was definitely my guy. Absolutely, Fred. I mean, I actually met him in the airport, and he was the sweetest thing. He gave me his autograph. Like, I was literally behind him in the airport checking in the TSA gate, and then he was in front of me. I didn't pay him no mind until somebody else kind of was like, "Hey, he's one of them wrestler men." I looked at him because I watched wrestling faithfully then. I was like, "Oh, hey, Chris Benoit." He turned around, was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey, I ain't got much, but can I get an autograph and a hug?" He was like, "Yeah, sure." Wrote on it and was going about his business. He didn't have a nastiness to him at that point. I'm pretty sure he was just leaving Atlanta for a wrestling thing, because I think he lived here.
Yep.
So it was kind of nice to see him, speak to him a little bit. And that's when I was working at the airport. So I saw quite a few athletes come through, a lot of wrestlers then. But it basically said that he got married in 2000 to his wife, and then around 2003 they had a child. Then she ended up filing divorce from him and getting a restraining order because he kind of started exhibiting violent behavior around the home, and he was just broken at that point.
Extremely paranoid. Kevin can kind of go into it, like the issues that he had. Like, you remember what happened?
Boy, just basically, only thing I know is, as you said with the CT, like you said, his behavior started changing, and basically, if you watch a Chris Benoit match, he takes a lot of blows to the head.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah.
He's been taking a lot of blows to his head since the 80s. A lot of people don't know he started off New Japan Pro Wrestling. So you know that wrestling style is very stiff.
Yeah.
And he looked up to the Dynamite Kid, who was a legend up in Canada. That's who his wrestling style was imitated towards. And that's how the Dynamite Kid was. And like you said, he basically just ended up with the brain of a 70-year-old man.
Yeah, that's what it says right here. Basically he was taking steroids and testosterone. I'm saying the word wrong. Yeah, I'm tongue-tied today. And it wasn't approved by the WWE. And then a lot of those wrestlers at that time was taking that type of stuff. And actually at his autopsy, like you said, he had a brain function of an 85-year-old man. Wow. And he also had a lot of alcohol and drugs along with his kid and wife in their system. So he was gone at this point when this incident happened.
Well, this dude literally did. Hold on, I was about to say this dude literally did a dive in the headbutt off the top of a cage.
Yeah,
off the top of a cage, like that right there. I've been knocked out a couple of times, like even a cut over my eye, man. Like that feeling, like it's almost like it's hard to explain. It's like you're there, but you're not always there. Like you can't function, you can't really comprehend on what's going on. So like it's like a buzzing type of feel. It's a buzzing type of feel. You don't understand like everything that's going around. Like you're there, but you're not really all there. So being that he's done these types of things, like when you have those concussions over and over again, it comes with headaches. So you gotta try to mask it with like alcohol, drugs to kind of make you feel that numb feeling, so you don't have to feel that pain. And that's what a lot of wrestlers and former football players do. They get into drugs because drugs take that feeling away. So these guys, they're no longer themselves when CTE is really coming to a forefront as far as like their personal lives and whatnot. So
I feel like we lost a lot of wrestlers. It just hasn't been put out there that it was CTE, but we lost a lot of wrestlers to suicide, drug use, etc. We lost a lot of them because of that. And I'm gonna show some pictures. There's a reason why. Kind of look at this.
That right there, that's a move that's been outlawed. That's a move that's pretty much been like they're taken away because they don't want these head and neck injuries. We've seen what it did to Stone Cold. We've seen what it's done to a guy like even CM Punk. CM Punk has like a lot of issues. I mean, he'll tell you about it. It's like the Undertaker. If you go back and look at they've stopped that. Like that's how they allow chair shots now. You can no longer hit guys over the head. The punt from Randy Orton, like they pretty much got rid of that one. So it's so many more things that like that's you can't fake a lot of this stuff. Like you literally getting hit in the head with a chair.
Yeah,
literally. You can fake that.
And I think because now the chairs, like what's changed, the chairs seem like they bend a little bit more. The tables are a bit more breakable, breakaway. Like look at that. Right. Just imagine getting that over and over and over again. And an aggressive, like coming at you with a chair constantly. And it was your job to make someone bleed and, hurt. They say wrestling is quote unquote fake, but the impact, the hitting, the bumps, everything that you had to entail to perform every night, that is what is real about this sport, so but hey, that was a fun time to watch though.
Do you guys remember like anything that come to mind as far as like a moment, whether it's in football, wrestling, where you like, damn, this dude just literally got like blown to pieces? You know what I'm saying? It's like one of those moments for me, and I thought like this guy was going. I thought he was dead. Like I ain't gonna lie. one of the moments where I cringed. It was two moments. When Stone Cold hit Kane over the head with that chair, I thought Kane was going, like, I thought he was going to fall the fuck out. Like, he hit this dude with all his force, all his might, and Kane just got up, blood all over his head. And it's like, dude, like, did he really just hit this dude? It, like, the sound is something that you just cannot fake. That sound hitting people over the head with, it's like, that's something that you can't fake. So that's one moment for me that I thought, like, that dude, like, I didn't think Kane was gonna get up, and he got up like it was just nothing.
Oh yeah, I see his right here. Undertaker through Foley. Man, you know what? Mick Foley.
Oh Lord Jesus!
I guarantee that's why that man look quirky and a little kooky sometimes, because that man was faithfully doing that to himself, jumping off of stuff,
bruh,
thumbtacks.
Bruh.
I mean, hitting his head, you know, doing all kinds of stuff, like just to be a character, be crazy, you know. I say one thing. It was when I was in freaking love with Chris Jericho, and this is when Triple H was a heel, and I forgot what wrestling pay-per-view it was, but man, we had that sledgehammer. And he was going in on Chris Jericho. I almost damn cried my eyes out. Oh my God, he's dead. Man, that was brutal. It was like he had nothing but blood and all this coming out his face and stuff. Like, I knew that about the cutting, you know, the razor and all that. I didn't know that then. I was watching it as like it was real, and I was like, man, this is brutal. Like, these dudes. I remember when Kane used to come in the ring, just don't give a shit and wreak havoc on everybody. I don't know if y'all remember that time. He didn't even have a match. He just all you hear was dude. And he walk in like, yeah, fuck all of y'all. We fuck this whole match up and walk back on out. Like, what in the world? But that was fun. That was wrestling back then. You know.
Oh,
I enjoyed that. Who we got here? Heath Miller hit Raven versus Steelers.
That Antonio Brown one was some nasty stuff right there. Vontez Burfict, Lord have mercy. That's why Antonio Brown became AB after that, because he wasn't the same. He wasn't same after that.
Oh, this is a good one right here. China. Oh yeah, me and my sister personally watched her story, but she had something to say, and the WWE silenced her because, of course, you knew. Who she was involved with, and then of course her. What about Julio?
No, King Julio. He was talking about one of my favorite wrestlers. He was talking about
wait.
No, he was talking about one of my favorite wrestlers.
I love. Oh my God,
Umaga was one of my favorites.
Yeah, I love Triple H. You know, before he became corporate Triple H, I love that. You know, he was just. But it got to the point where it was like, okay, Triple H, we get it. We get it. You got to be in every damn matchup. You got to be every damn well. Let's see what else we got. Then we're going to move on to the next one. Jeff. Oh, my God. Jeff Hardy. That's why he a fool now.
Yeah.
I think he go through, he's in and out of jail on drugs, alcohol problems. Like, Jeff Hardy got some issues. Matt, too, I want to say. They both got some issues. Rock versus Mankind Backlash. Ooh, that's what I'm saying. Those were good matches, but I can imagine what it was, the wear and tear on these players' bodies. Cody Rhodes get his literally hit by a chair.
Oh, that was the first night of AEW on TV.
Oh my God, that was sick. Man.
But like y'all said, there was one moment that I had too, and this was an ECW moment. This was old school. I forgot who Sabu was wrestling.
Oh my God!
I don't know who. I forgot who Sabu was wrestling, but they did a back body drop. This dude literally landed and broke his neck on his head. He landed on his head and broke his neck on a back body drop. I don't know if he was facing Taz, but dude, that motherfucker. His head was literally hanging like this the rest of the match. They had to stop.
Yeah,
I thought he died, bro.
It was a player, and someone said no one talks about Umaga's death. A lot of people forgot about him. It's a lot of wrestlers that a lot of people forgot about. I don't remember what wrestler that was, but I think something came out of socket and he just put it right back on in and got it back right up in there. Like it was a broken arm. It was something broke, but they continued the match. I can't remember what wrestler that was.
Oh, I have no clue. But
it was, I can't remember who it was, but he came in and still performed. Or was it a lady? It was somebody that had a broken something and it still came out and performed. It was Taz. Was it Taz?
Yeah, it was Taz against Sabu. Yeah, that was it. Good boy.
That's what it was Taz against Sabu when he flipped him over and he landed on his neck.
Okay, he's talking about that one.
Yeah, I thought Sabu was dead, bro. I ain't even gonna lie.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how
tuning in.
I don't know how he came through. And like people talk about McFoley, his death matches with Terry Funk is on a whole nother level too. So you thought WWF, you thought his matches was brutal. Y'all need to go look up the death match series with Terry Funk. Y'all ain't nothing.
And that's one of the reasons why even he talk about him not even being able to move when he goes home, not to be able to pick up a kid that's 30 pounds. Like he talk about all of this stuff, and like this is the
look, man, Mike, you got a request.
Hey man, look, we
trying. This is a little preview of that. Just a little bit.
Preview of it. Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, Toss and Falcon. Hey, do y'all remember this story? Where Rey Mysterio accidentally killed somebody doing the 619?
I heard about that. I forgot about it.
I think what happened when he hit him with the 619 and the guy had a heart attack. He died in the ring. I forgot. It was somewhere down in
Mexico.
Yeah.
Was it Finn Balor? Maybe that was Finn Balor. I know it was a wrestler whose shoulder did separate it.
Yeah, it was Finn. Yeah, I think it was Finn, and he popped it back in. And he got back in the rest. Yeah, he got back in the match.
See,
I remember when Randy Orton he stopped doing that thing where he'll press down, and I think because he took his arm out of socket or something, and they made him stop doing that.
Yeah,
but he kept coming out with injuries.
King Julio bringing out the gun. He talking about, do we know who New Jack? Of course, I know who New Jack is. It's crazy,
man. We're some wrestling vets over here. Come on, man.
Yeah.
New Jack, like I said, New Jack and his homeboy. I forgot what they tag team that they used to smoke before a match.
Oh yeah, and the TLC matches. Oh my God, through tables, chairs.
Yes, and Christian against the Hardy Boys.
Ladders. I mean, especially Jeff Hardy and Matt and them. My gosh, they be flipping off of the top of the ladders and just putting their bodies through. Oh, and Shane McMahon, he be climbing all the way when he's fight Steve Blackman. Y'all remember Steve Blackman? Matches with Shane McMahon. Shane McMahon always had a point to prove, and he climbed up on that Titantron. He went all the way up and he fell.
Yeah,
and he keep doing these big ass stunts. He didn't have to do all that, but I think because he had a point to prove because of who his daddy was. But he was putting his body through some stuff, and he still, when he came back a little bit later, he still tried to do it. Definitely.
Owen Hart, that's another one. He had a series of concussions as well, and that tragedy was bad too.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
So
St. from ECW had its moments. Yeah. Oh, King of Death matches.
Yeah, that's the Mick Foley Terry Funk thing right there. And
Mom First Alwayz, how you doing, lady?
I can't watch that type of wrestling. Like I can watch it once in a while, but like them dudes be like they're killing themselves, and you see why a lot of these wrestlers, because it becomes like a one-upsman. Like, especially him and Terry Funk, like they like try to kill each other, like for real. Who can do the worst thing? I'm gonna set you on fire. I'm gonna hit you in the head with one of those knuckle. Damn, I forget what you call them, but you put them around the finger. Brad nuts. Like they used to hit each other like that for real with stuff like that. So, man, like this CTE stuff is real, man. So
it
you know
is.
what I'm saying? You got kids. You got kids, man. Like that's something that everybody you want to take it seriously. Like in football, man. We got guys like who we follow, like John Abraham. Like people don't realize, like when you
John Abraham definitely going through some things. Definitely,
he's going through that right now. We know that personally because we saw him on his Facebook. Like he only uses Facebook, and he was going live and he was crying. And it's like, man, I'm in rehab. I'm trying to get myself together. Like we saw him break down. We saw it firsthand. So like this is the reason why we wanted to make a show like this to kind of like give the other side of football, because as fans, all we want to see is big hits. We want to see touchdown. We want to see somebody get pancake. But these athletes going through it. So that's why I make videos like respect Matt Ryan, respect Julio Jones, because these guys are putting their life on the line, man.
We'll get back to the wrestling. I see y'all want to talk about it, but let's get into a little bit more key points, because the basics of this episode is about CTE. So we kind of got into it about the wrestling. Now let's talk about a couple of NFL athletes. And of course, it's a list of them. But I wanted to highlight some things that recently happened because it's still happening. Phillip Adams killed 5 people and himself recently. And his brain will be examined for possible CTE. I don't know if it's come back or not. I didn't see anything else about it, but
he played for the Falcons too.
He played for the Falcons, and of course he was bounced around to different teams, and he just so many traumatic blows to the head created this. And that's the very reason why the NFL, everybody's saying it's going soft, but I guess they just don't want any more lawsuits, because it's some players, some retired players and other scientists and things like that going after the NFL about these things, along with wrestling. They changed it. They changed it where you couldn't get hit with the chair in the head anymore. It's a lot that they changed about it. So more padding, the padding on the
they don't
in the ring
off
corners. They don't dive off of things. Yeah. So
what you got?
He killed.
So
he killed. Let's put a picture of him. Go ahead.
I'm about to say. So do you think is also factor with them kind of trying to change the rules too? Is because of that movie Concussion came out that kind of showed that how a lot of these industries are not really correctly treating these players, these athletes, and caring for them. Do you think that might have a point of them trying to change the rules all of a sudden? Because as we know, like I said, see the name down here, Lawrence Phillips, CTE, Junior Seau, CTE. And like I said, Vincent Jackson might have had CTE too.
Yeah, and they doing it. Yeah, I think they doing like an investigation on his brain as well, because he was taking a lot of drugs, a lot of pills to kind of mask it, and that's the main reason why they're going after NFL. It's not so much the head trauma, because it's like every player knows what they're dealing with when it comes down to contact sports. Like they understand that. But where the NFL is getting out of hand with it, where they are getting in trouble, is that these guys aren't being responsible for, like, they're not giving these guys treatment. There was a former player, Mike Webster, who kind of died from a lot of he died from CTE and heart attack and all this type of stuff, but it was mostly due to CTE. And he, like, the NFL actually they didn't give him his pension. They didn't give him his pension. So he was forced to like deal with it on his own. So he ultimately died of the complications of CTE and the football injuries, and he actually won his case against the NFL for $1.5 million in back pay. But that's the reason why the NFL, they're coming under. It's nothing you can do about it. It's like let's make it real. Let's be real with it. It's nothing you can
unless
do
you're gonna make it tag football, contactless football. It's nothing you can do about it. So they just need better health care, better awareness. I think they need to be required yearly head scans and things like that, just to check for trauma, just to kind of give them a synopsis of, okay, what to expect, how to deal with that. They need to speak to counselors. I think it just should be a little bit more involved in, because with these players out here killing and being a women, it still has a lot to do, especially if this person didn't have any type of trauma. Like, look at I'm not gonna say it's CTE, but he went to Westlake. Pac-Man. This man is in and out of trouble and everything else. It's like, what is really going on with him? You know what I'm saying? So a lot of these troublemakers that are out there, you got to kind of want to evaluate them before it's too late. Look at the Hernandez guy. You know what I'm saying? There's a way we can kind of catch it before, need to be mental health checks every now and then. Just like, I mean, of course, they're going to probably still let them play, but at least they're monitoring. Maybe have them seek a therapist where they have to have a therapist check on them every day.
Yeah, let them make the choice. Like a guy like Taylor Gabriel, like he just retired, he's 30 years old? I don't think he's barely 30 years old. He made a decision. Like Luke Kuechly is another guy who retired, and he made the decision. It's like, do I want to keep playing football? Because he can still play at a high level, but give these athletes the opportunity to decide whether or not, like, this is how they want to live. And I think that's the main reason why we want to get these, you
have these conversations. Do you want to proceed? Do you know what the risks are for doing this? This is the benefit of it. As long as you want to be in here, this is the health plans that we got for it. This is what you are required to make sure you are healthy. Of course, we still can't, CTE can't be cured. CTE can be helped a little bit, but there is no treatment for it, really. But seeking, I can get into that. Let's go ahead and get into that. How you cope with it a little bit. Let me get to that.
You got to remember, these football players been playing football since they was 3, 4, 5. They've been taking hits since they were kids. So that also plays a part, because, like,
it said just establish a daily routine. Creating a daily structure helps life feel more stable, because they're all over the place. They don't know how to speak to somebody about it. Make notes. Writing things down help combat memory problems, because getting hit like that, you're forgetful. You know what I'm saying? You don't remember a lot of things. So they go through these issues, but it's silent because they're afraid to speak up and say, hey, something is wrong. Manage feelings. Relaxation methods such as deep breathing help control your emotions. Ask for help. Last but not least, sharing challenges with friends and family can help ease the load. Sometimes professional counseling can be very helpful in managing these symptoms. There's no cure for it, but we can at least manage it with communication about it. Let's not try to be quiet about it. And it's just a concussion protocol. Two games off, and then you come right on back. What about evaluating him after that? What about that? Keeping a close eye. I mean, of course, I don't know the ins and outs of the NFL, what they're doing behind the scenes, but it's apparent they're not doing enough for these players. And I want to go back to what Devin had to say. It's not the NFL's fault that the players want to play football, but I don't know the NFL not supporting them. Not enough.
Not enough.
And that's the biggest issue. Because, like I said, they know the dangers. They've been taught that since before you. But even if like playing in rec ball before you even get to high school, you've been taught like this is the dangers of it. They go over that with the parents before they even get in there. Like, that's the protocol. Like, I played myself, so it's like that's something that they teach you. So when you have these issues, and I think this is what I prefer to do, I would rather wait for this kid to at least get, 13, 14 years old before they decide whether they want to play football. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, let them play flag football, because the flag football leagues, until their body really get to a point where it's, mature enough to handle the blows and whatnot, because your brain doesn't develop into, your mid-20s. All right. I think it was like 27, 28, where your brain fully develops. So these guys, their brains aren't fully developed, and now you're out on, the football fields getting rattled. Baseball, like even baseball, There's guys that, like a lot of these catches, Brian McCann just retired for years, because of him. They changed the rules in baseball because they used to like run over the catchers and whatnot. Pudge Rodriguez, all these guys, like they dealing with a lot of physical issues and even CTE in baseball. So it's just more so these guys. NFL had to do a better job of getting these guys help after they retire and not just leaving them to rot on their own. You know what I'm saying? Defend on their own.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There just need to be a little bit more education about that. And it's like, hey, know the risk. Go ahead, K Styles.
And we ain't talked about another something that is possibility. Because I was about to say, didn't the Saints player, wasn't named Steve Gleason, get ALS? Yeah. From repeated head trauma that he went through. It said this stuff, like I said, like football is nothing to play with. Like I said, we can talk the trash about players being sorry and
and shooting up. And we're not even including the drugs that they give them. And they ban marijuana.
Fentanyl,
but they want to dope you up on pain pills and things like that. They give you some IV.
They're a little bit more.
They're getting a little more lenient, but at one point it was like, heck no. But it's like, come on, man, let them smoke a little bit. As long as they ain't on the field doing it, just this, we give that to cancer patients. If cancer patients can handle it for pain treatment and management, if they give it to people that have those opioid addictions and things like that, yes, please. They got the money to afford these type of go get them a big old bag of oil or marijuana and let them just go to town, because it's going to help a lot of them mentally, for one thing, to kind of get their mind together. Of course, I'm a big advocate for it, and they just need to legalize it everywhere.
Yeah, because what was it? Kyle Turley, like I said, I don't know if a lot of people watch. There's a documentary on YouTube that y'all can check out with Kyle Turley, and he talks about playing games with major. He did an interview where he was like he felt like his concussion was so bad, he felt like he was about to die.
Yeah,
and like I said, the coaches were basically like, they just gave him salt, shot him up, and sent him back out there. And like I said, Mike.
That's why they call the NFL not for long.
Yeah. Like I said, that's why Mike said fentanyl. Like I said, it's a whole bunch of stuff, bro. It's crazy, and and these players think that, okay, what the doctors are giving me will help me with the pain that I dealt with from this game and practices and stuff like that. But like you said, if a player ain't got a pension and you've been shooting them up with drugs for 13, 14, 15 years. And they cannot cope without having that shot, that fentanyl, that whatever it is right there, then that's where situations like you got down here on the screen,
Bannan, yeah. Phillip Adams. We were just talking about Phillip Adams, how he killed them folks. This another one. He shot a lady. He's out the NFL, but he was an owner, and he came up and pretty much said that the Russian mafia was after him, and he pretty much blamed innocence due to insanity, with him. It's a lot of players that just something's not right with them. But yeah, this is another one. He just basically shot this lady and was saying she came in to do some type of spa treatment. He was tucked up in a corner with a gun. And went to shoot because the mafia is after him. So that's why we're bringing it to you guys' attention. It's something that is not being really, and like I said, like everybody said, that Will Smith movie brought some attention to it. Everybody go back and watch that. But there needs to be a lot more research, a little bit more openness about this, especially like with Hayden Hurst and them talking about their mental illness and things like that. It just needs to be, mental health, period, needs to be a huge topic in sports and entertainment. It should just be a moment where they just really have like a mental health awareness, something to make sure everybody gets evaluated annually, just to make sure they're okay. You know, I just think that they need to incorporate that. But Justin Bannan, man, that's another NFL player, you know, that kind of went AWOL a little bit. What do y'all think about that?
Just another case, man. Like I said, everybody has different effects. Like, ain't nothing more you can really say about it. It's wow. See, I ain't know too much about that one. That one was new to me.
Yeah, it's what I'm saying. And people don't know about it. You know what I'm saying? So it's gonna be kind of swept on the bus. And then rugby, that's another contact sport.
That's another one.
Yeah.
So,
you know, and I think a lot more because them rugby guys big.
Them some big them some big boys. They average about 240 pounds on average.
Yeah.
So yeah, them big dudes right there.
You know, dudes get to want to talk most in heights, especially because, you know, they don't want to look like they're weak and they're not all together, you know. And then, of course, if you start admitting that, hey, you know, I kind of got something going on with me, then it's like, oh, you can't perform to your best of your ability. And no, there's a lot of mental health cases, I'm pretty sure, around the NFL and everywhere. Professional, everywhere. It's just you learn how to cope with it and manage it better. But you can still live with it, long as you ain't about to kill somebody in the locker room. You know what I'm saying? But it can be managed. It's not a death sentence, long as you can manage it. Now, CTE is uncurable, but you can live with it, and long as you manage it enough. You know, like Chris Chandler. A lot of people didn't know that he had CTE. He's still, you know, I don't know what's his state right now, but he's still getting around at least, and the players are talking about it, so he's probably open about it, you know. And there, options. Those players need options other than just pain meds.
And that's what Kyle Turley come into hand. Like, if you guys can check out just anything Kyle Turley on YouTube, he talks about it, and this is why I'm a huge advocate for marijuana myself. And like I said, even for myself, man, I had issues sleeping. I have crazy anxiety. My anxiety is something else. Like it gets to a point where I'm not even sleeping a lot of times, and when I sleep, I wake up in cold sweats and like things of that nature. So something that I deal with myself. So like I said, man, it's something that if you don't like doing other drugs, alcohol, like anything outside of marijuana, you don't want to get into. All right, especially if you think someone has some issues with their brain, period, not just CTE. If you feel like this person isn't all together, you know, just from a chemical standpoint, alcohol and drugs is the last thing that you want. Marijuana is the best thing for you. It's the best thing for you. Trust when I say that. And that's why NFL, they're getting a little bit more lenient with this NBA.
It's like we don't say you're doing it, just don't get caught with it.
Right.
And I'm about to say, and as Falcon fans, that's what happened to Jalen Collins. It's the same thing. He had ADHD. But that's why he got busted for his stuff, because he had to take the marijuana to cope with his condition. So
yeah. When you go into the doctor, they always want to like throw you some pills. That's why I'm a natural person. You know.
Because really the doctors, their real objective is just to make money. So they're gonna prescribe you something that's gonna have a side effect, and then prescribe you something to counter that side effect, but give you another side effect, and then give you something else to counter that side effect with another side effect.
And I was taking up antidepressants. Like I really was going through some real bad anxiety where I couldn't feel my fingers and things like that. It was like I was floating. So I had to, they gave me the anxiety meds, and I was lifeless. That's all I wanted to do. You know, just sit there, just be a zombie about life. No kind of emotions, just you know. So and of course they tell you it's dangerous to get off of those drugs. I was like, shouldn't me? You ain't finna cripple me and make me lifeless. So I self-medicate. You know, that's just how I deal with it. I cry to somebody I call Mike and get on his nerves for about an hour.
I went through that period too, but I went through a period where they had me on the antidepressant, and man, I was cussing. I mean, cussing people out ain't new, but it was to the point like I was just cussing people out for anything, little small things. I was just snapping. And thank God for my dad. My dad was like, "Yeah, you are not yourself. This is not you. You're not a person that just be cussing people out for no reason, for not having a shoe in the right place." Like I was cussing people out for stupid stuff like that. It's like crazy stuff. And he was like, "Okay, when you see those signs, you know what I'm saying? Like that's the way that you want to handle it. Marijuana. I know it's especially in this world, in the United States, you know." The government has done a great job of trying to demonize cannabis and marijuana. You know what I'm saying? They've done a great job of trying to demonize, but
they put all these taxes on it so they can make their money.
Oh, we already know the real reason why they demonize it. We already know that.
Oh yeah.
It ain't even about the taxes, but we know why.
Because it actually helps people. They don't want to actually help people.
Yeah. That's why you know. It's a statewide type of situation. So it's like you make the decision if y'all want your people to. But come on, man. Come on, man.
Then King Julio came with another one here. He was like, "Well, actually, I am a soccer fan, and I heard about this one. They were talking about removing heading the ball to stop hitting. A lot of people don't know in soccer those set pieces is a dangerous play because if you get elbowed in the head, you can get kicked in the head." You can get head-butted. Like I said, like when it comes to soccer, that's the most dangerous part about soccer is the ball in the air.
You can fall right into somebody's knee.
First Alwayz, you know, she has a child. Her son is actually getting ready to start football. And he's 12, like you said, 12, 13, 14. And he's a big size though. He's a very healthy size. So he got a lot of cushion and things like that too. But
she did it right.
She did it right. She waited till he was a little bit more mature and his body can handle those type of. And then, of course, if his size, he'd probably just be defensive, you know, knocking people down instead of taking the hits. Most likely, it's probably where they're gonna put him, you know. So,
but
you know,
but it also comes down to the coaches not really teaching these kids how to really do things safely. It's just all about just go out there and just make that play by any means necessary. That also plays a part in it. Because if you look at a lot of these Pee-wee football documentaries and stuff, and you actually see how these coaches really coach these kids, they training these kids to be killers.
I'm gonna tell you something. I seen this. I have a personal like this is what like my brother has always been big. Like my brother's 6'7", 240 something pounds. So he's always been big. So he was 6'2", 12 years old, and he's playing with guys that are 12 years old, but these guys like 5. He got like 5'7", 5. The tallest was like 5'10". So he's always been big. So he always he played tight end, and he got off to like a hot start. It was like 4 or 5 games where he had like 6 touchdowns and 200 yards receiving, you know, from games. Like they had forfeit. They got this rule in Pee-wee where you forfeit games. Like they got sick of it. So what coaches did to him, and one of the reasons why he decided not to play football anymore, because he was great. My brother was damn like I'm talking about like Calvin Johnson. Like he was that damn good at receiving. So like he could have easily had played in the NFL, but he made a decision because it's like it was 2 games in a row where the coaches, these guys in Pee-wee football, it's like he playing special teams, and they told their players, the coach was on his side. His coach was like, these guys gonna hit you. I just heard that you know they out to hurt you, and he was on special teams, and these dudes like used to hit him, play over, and they used to hit him from the back. So these coaches are actually teaching these. Like, we get these types of coaches out of sports, period, we have a lot more healthier players, and it'll be a lot more safer game. And this is the reason why guys like Greg Williams is being kind of ousted out of the league, because he's, you know, bounty getting all this type of stuff, because those types of players and those types of plays had no place in the game. But like I said, that happened to my brother. And like I said, man, if they get that aspect out of sports where people are deliberately trying to hurt people, you know, like Montez Burfict or whatever his name is, like literally trying to hurt people on purpose, that right there needs to be outlawed. Like that type of play, like the Detroit Pistons, bad boys, like they were literally trying to hurt people on purpose, that has no place in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, we talk about one sport too that just had just as much CTE situations as football, and that's hockey.
Yeah. Oh my God.
It's yeah, you know what? Speaking of that, well, not hockey, but yeah, hockey definitely. You know, them fools be in there scrapping.
Well, you try getting checked on the boards. That shit hurts. That shit hurts.
You ever got hit by one of those? I used to work for Phillips Arena when it was the Thrashers playing, and I picked one of them real ones up. Imagine getting hit with that thing.
Yeah, no.
That thing, yeah.
That's why they be toothless, because it be
exactly. Exactly. Do you see their helmets? They just got a visor. Oh, this right.
But let's get into there's one last thing. A lot of people don't really know about this one, but we just, you know, we was looking up current athletes, you know, not just football, and wrestling. This person here, you know, I don't know if people get into this one, but bobsledding.
Oh, I love bobsledding.
Pele Jovanovic, I hope that's how you pronounce his name. He killed himself. He hung himself, actually. And he's actually the first bobsledder in sliding sports to have CTE.
Mm-hmm.
And have you ever watched those, games where their head is bobbing? Like, you know, all you see is, let me take this off, but all you see is this. Who's in Georgia and rode the Ninja? You ever rode the Ninja?
Oh my God, yes.
You be over here like, I'm holding my head because
I can't.
Your back, all of that.
Look, bro, I kid you not. I rode the Ninja 8 times in a row. One time. I swear to God. I got off there 8 times. I had to lay down.
Yeah, that. No, sir.
The only reason I rode it 8 times because nobody was on it. So I was like, okay, shoot. The only ride I'll be able to get on, bruh. Yeah, you gotta have a strong neck. That was my ride though, but you gotta have a strong neck.
Yeah, so it's other sports that's starting to come out, you know. So celebrities and athletes are just starting to openly speak on the mental health issues due to scientific proof. You know, Hayden Hurst and a lot of people are coming out with their mental health issues. And I encourage it, you know, so that's why we brought this show together to speak on these things, because a lot of people are suffering in silence and are afraid, especially men. They're afraid to come out with, hey, something might not be right with me. I might need some help, you know, or I just need somebody to listen to me, you know, because they can have not just CTE, PTSD, all kinds of stuff. There's just so much going on with a lot of people, not just athletes. Everyone could be going through something and they don't even know anything about it. Set pieces punched the nuts over or ball to the ball.
Oh, yeah, that goes on in soccer too. You get punched in the nuts. It happens.
Well, I've seen it. I've seen somebody get nuts. Soccer.
Ooh, yeah.
Like,
exactly.
Yeah. See, these people are shooting themselves, taking their self-inflicted killings. Like they taking other people out than themselves.
Mm-hmm.
That's the part I don't, I'm not understanding it, but you don't know what's going through their head at the moment.
They don't know. They're not
like
rational.
Back to Chris Benoit, they said he had a lot of shit in his system.
Just
y'all probably just coming back in, we kind of touched back on Chris Benoit at the beginning of this story, and he was pretty much going downhill. And then Mike, you said you read somewhere where they kind of knew that something was wrong with him early on.
Doctor, during that time, that's when, and this is where I kind of give a lot of, the NFL, wrestling, WWE, WCW, ECW, and a lot of these big corporations during that time, like technology wasn't as big as it was, now. It's like it wasn't. So they knew something wasn't right, but they didn't have the technology or the background, the history of what to help these guys try to figure out what's going on. So around 2000, I know a little bit after Chris Benoit, his situation, doctors knew something was wrong, but they didn't know how to treat it. So with more cases like this, as tragic as it might seem, or heartless as the WWE and the NFL made, they didn't know what was going on. They didn't know, like it wasn't no scientific history to back up. So you can't say, okay, they didn't do anything about it. They didn't have. It wasn't something that like we didn't have X-rays in 1990s. A lot of the stuff that they got, like they got so many damn different types of computers in the hospitals and stuff like now. Like they got all types of, they like hook you up with all types of stuff. They didn't have that back then. So he was a ticking time bomb. He was just a ticking time bomb. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of players, now you see the signs. Now they got a little bit more history. Okay, this happened to Chris Benoit. This happened to, guys like Antonio Brown, head traumas, things of that nature. You got a guy like Aaron Hernandez, who he was always he did a lot of drugs even from high school, but drugs wasn't an issue until he started getting those concussions, and that's what made it worse. So it's not necessarily drugs, it's not understanding these concussions, and now people understand
and coping with drugs
and coping with it, and that's how it just accelerates the problem as far as like the drugs and alcohol. So it's a different types of thing. Junior Seau is another one too.
Yeah, what Devin said, it's the side effects from these repeated use. People pass away from these because for one thing, you get a little small dose of it. Then that doesn't work on your body anymore. Then you increase it. Then you beg in the, I have people, I love my family to death, but I got people right now that are addicted to those pain pills.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
They go through the withdrawal when they don't have it. It's I hate to see it every day. I hate to see it every day, and it's only killing them, and instead of doing the proper things they need to do to kind of get their body together, a lot of it had to do with heavy weight and then, back issues and things like that. So you mask it with those pain pills. That's why, God forbid, I remain healthy and not have to go get surgery. I have auntie that passed away, may she rest in peace. But she refused those pain meds. She smoked marijuana. She had cancer. She refused. She refused to use them because she saw what it did to her siblings. What it's doing to them. It's crippling them. They have to have that. They have a dependency on those pain meds. She refused it. So they gave her the right to use marijuana during her cancer treatments. Until she just was like, I don't even want the treatment anymore. Just, hey, I'm tired. I think the main reason he killed his family was the death of Eddie Guerrero. He was his best friend and cried for months, according to his. They were very, very close.
They went all the way back to the 80s, man. That was his best friend.
Of not knowing how to deal with that with CTE issues. Like it's just he's unstable. It's just like a ticking time bomb. It just take the right or the wrong, depending on how you look at it, the wrong situation to bring it out of him. Like he was paranoid. Like he was just doing a lot of things at that time, and it just wasn't that alone. Just the death of Chris Benoit. It was just the repeated head issues. His marriage at the time, it was going down. It's like it was a number of things. So it's like when you have that, man, that's the reason why Maggie is saying what she's saying is about how to cope with it. When these things, like it may be you. Like me, I've had a couple of head traumas, and cracked the skull. Like I said, I got a gap right over my eye from getting hit by a brick. You know what I'm saying? Like that stuff just it still, like, even to this day, I get twitches and like a rush on the side of my eye because of these head traumas. So it's definitely real. It's definitely real.
And and what Devin said, MMA, that's no joke either. And speaking of, we actually wasn't going to talk about this with Jake Paul. He's claiming he has early signs of CTE, but then he retracted that statement. He actually said he has early signs of it. And in the early stages, teens were taking steroids and committing suicide. Then when the DEA came down on bodybuilders, yeah, absolutely. Ooh, these comments, y'all are coming in with it today.
Yes, they are. This is a good subject.
Because we take for granted on how important our brains and how that nervous system in our head really functions, and how all of it is tied to emotions and everything that goes within our daily lives. And once you get that disruption, which is like the CTE, the concussions, and like I said, I had seizure problems when I was younger. I ain't really had to deal with seizures like that once I got older, but when I was younger, it was bad for me. I didn't get them often, but when I got them, they were severe. It was points when people thought I died. That's how
my son. Everybody kind of know now that my son goes through them. He actually, it seems like now they're not even annually. They're maybe twice every other few months now. He's having them. So they still are trying to adjust his medication. His last one, he actually vomited. It was so bad. That's why I rushed him to the hospital. I'm used to his seizures, but it actually came with vomiting as well. And this is when he had hurt his hand too. That's why I was kind of in and out off the show for a while, dealing with my baby. But yeah, he deals with seizures, and he has epilepsy, so that's something he's going to deal with for the rest of his life. But they have to check his brain, and because he had an uncle that passed away, he ended up developing brain tumors. And he passed away. He had a lot of brain surgery, so I pray to God that my son is all right. But it's just it's so many things that people are going through silently. They're afraid to talk about it. Anyone can get CTE from a fall, fight, car accident. That's why when your baby fall and hit the back of his head, they ask, don't let him go to sleep. They ask questions, keep him alert. What is he doing right about now? Is he getting fatigued? They ask certain questions because of that. It can be anybody. And what you talking about, Dre?
Shit, I know what he talking about with that one. Well, bad knees. Shit, I got a shoulder that ain't worth jack shit no more. I know. I have to sleep a certain way. Yeah, I have to sleep a certain way. But I have to sleep.
Lots of players are retiring. Yeah, definitely.
Or more
and
now.
It's not Matt's Ryan's fault you got CTE. Yeah, and steroids is a temporary fix that ultimately cause your body to be more open to damage and long-term side effects. Not worth it. Benoit was doing roids on top of concussions, and they said he had a lot of drugs, more than just that. He was like real serious drugs.
A regimen that you have to go through. It's a regimen that you have to go through when you're like on steroids. Like it's and that's why a lot of wrestlers die, because they don't they got to go through. People just think, okay, you take this and you just take steroids and then all of a sudden your body goes. It's a regimen. They give you several types of, drugs to kind of, to build your body up, build that immune system up, so the steroids can work. So it's a regimen that he was going through. So that's why I said, he had, all these types of drugs. But like that's the same thing why guys like Rosie, Roman Reigns' brother Rosie, Umaga, these guys died because they were on, they were doing these steroids. That was a part of the business back in the day. So it's like it's changed so much now, but this is one of the reasons. Like you gotta know, you gotta do your homework before you get into the profession, because if you don't know it, like they hitting you with this fentanyl, it's like damn, like hitting you. One minute your ass is on the ground crying and screaming my leg, and then the next thing you know, they hit you up with a shot, and you jump up like goddamn Wolverine, like nothing happened. Red flag, they hitting your ass with that fentanyl. Okay, so that's the reason why fentanyl right now has really been outlawed the way it is. Like,
I agree about Vince McMahon just wanting money.
Mm-hmm.
Man, because he was putting on matches, man. That man was making guap for these fools like Mick Foley, putting his body through that type of torture.
Man, I'm surprised Mick Foley's still walking, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
you notice how he kind of walked.
He got a little
off. He got like a little
twitch.
Even Vince McMahon kind of walk with the, like he's stiff. The way he kind of walks through the ring. And of course he still he's old now, but remember he used to come out there trying to be all buff and shit. So he was probably roiding up a little bit to get that body the way he was. So
yeah. And then there's another aspect we ain't talk about with the steroids, and that's those bodybuilders. And the issue with the bodybuilders is we have to kind of realize that our bodies are not really meant to take on that much muscle. Because the more muscle you have, the harder your heart has to pump in order to feed oxygen.
And we just talked about him. It was this person here, Phillip Adams. Yeah, we just talked about him at the earlier of the show. Definitely. They're gonna do a brain test on him to see if it was CTE. But they said, from what they said when they investigated his home after that, he was like taking on some type of different religion and everything. Like he was just on a whole different path. He was just something definitely wasn't right. Ideology or something. They said he was worshiping or something like that.
I think it was like that thing that what his name is. What's it? Tom Cruise, whatever that was.
Scientology.
Yeah, he was taking on Scientology.
Yeah. But people, we don't, we had to do this because we joke and we play and we kick it and have a good time. But a lot of people just don't look at the seriousness of, you want these athletes to perform at the best of their ability, but you don't understand what they have to put their bodies through, Julio Jones, to come out there and perform for you. This man is hurt all the time. You know what I'm saying? You don't know what these players are going through. Then and on top of that, you got people that bully them and harass them all on, social media coming after them. You don't know what they might be sitting there reading all this. Like that basketball player me and Mike was talking about on the last show. I can't think of what team he was. He was early exit of the NCAA tournament.
Ohio State basketball player.
EJ Lytle.
Yeah, and they basically was all up in his all up in his stuff, just like kill yourself. I wish all kinds. I wish I can come and kill you and all kinds of stuff. And he was just like, "What did I do to deserve this?" You don't know what these folks, like a lot of these players are killing themselves, self-inflicted. They might be reading your post right now and taking it in. We have to watch it. So, that's why I said, that's why we really didn't want to touch on his, because that's not a joke. That's like people say, "Oh, I got bipolar. I'm bipolar. I'm just crazy." Like it's people that really got the real issue with bipolar, and they can't help it. It's some people that got multiple personalities. There is a mental illness. People that suffer from real multiple personalities, they snap into other people, and they don't know it at all. So you have to watch what you say about, "Oh, I got bipolar. I'm just crazy. I'm a Gemini." I'm like, y'all got to watch that. There's people that really are out there with these real issues. You know, a lot of people know a lot of players that become professional athletes before being football since they've been in 6, because I know that's when my pop started me. So I can just imagine headshots and all that all your life before your brain starts developing.
Right.
You know, you ready to get a little tight and a little nook in sports, but you gotta why not baseball or something? You know, because until he's a little bit more mature, because I've seen some brutal hits on them little babies.
I saw one today. It was an Oklahoma drill.
Oh yeah, I saw that one. Yeah, like that's unnecessary. You shouldn't be teaching kids that early to be hitting like that. That's just crazy.
These kid wasn't but 4 or 5 years old for Oklahoma.
Kurt Angle. I think Kurt Angle got some issues he just don't want to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's without question. That's without question.
All the alcohol and drug abuse he dealt with. But we already know he won the Olympics with a broken neck. You know, they used that as his slogan. But
that's what Dre would talk about. Riding that ninja.
It was a death trap, but it was a death trap for whatever the hell was in your pocket too.
And Devin, we talked about earlier. They said he had the brain capacity of an 85-year-old man. That's, you know, it was bound to happen at that point, or he was going to be a vegetable after a certain point. Dementia and all that. He wouldn't be, you know, that's why a lot of these players and, you know, they retire early. You know, so, but, you know, that's all we got, you know, and he took 60 to 7 pills. Oh, I can imagine. You know, so that's all we got for today. We always leave it with a little bit of, this is a new concept, you guys. You know, we're gonna be back tomorrow for Friday Night Madness, back to your regular scheduled program of football, Atlanta Falcons football talk. But we kind of wanted to bring you guys awareness to mental health issues and real topics. So we want to leave you off with this is called our healing moment, the healing point. For those people that are suffering in silence. It's so many people out there that are going through the same thing that you are going through. You know, if you know, I'm a big advocate for mental health awareness because I have my own issues with it. I have a daughter that's diagnosed with mood depression disorder. I've seen her completely black out of it to the point she didn't even recognize who I was. You know, schizophrenia and things like that run in my family. So I have to be serious about when something might seem off. Like even your children could be going through these things. Don't push all this stuff off as, oh, just a typical teenager thing. That's what we was thinking to do. But it was like, You know, when my child comes in and say, hey, something is speaking to me. Oh, what do you mean by that? What's going on with you? I had to take that seriously, people. So let's not laugh at these people. Don't point fingers at people that might not be all together. You have to understand what could have been happening to them traumatically, not just head trauma. Anything, you know, abuse, sexual abuse, physical abuse, being bullied in school. Even as an adult, we this social media thing, this platform right now, you know, y'all keyboard warriors right about now, but you don't know what this person at home is dealing with, and then got to come on social media, hoping that's their outlet to the outside world, and you belittle them. I'm saying the wrong word, but you know what I'm saying though. But you don't know what's going on in these people's homes, and y'all so quick to talk about each other. Y'all so quick to be these cyber bullies. And that's why I come here with a strong face. I come here because you don't know what's going on in people's household.
Mm-hmm.
But you're so quick to be at each other's throats because of competition and all this kind of stuff. We got to learn to love one another more. Because it's gonna be that where you're gonna hear about that person taking their own life because of what you said on social media.
Mm-hmm. You don't want.
You gotta watch it, people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gotta do better, people. That's why we bringing it to everybody's attention. You know, everybody, you know, in this Atlanta Falcons niche, everybody is ready to dog you down because of something that you want to do on your own platform. If you don't like it, don't watch it. You know, that's how I feel about it. That's all I'm gonna say on it. I'm done. Anybody else?
Well, I'll say this. It all comes down to it. The reason why we're going to continue to do and speak on topics like this is because it needs to be talked about. A lot of people don't have, places where where they can hear stories like this. You hear it one day you hear it one time on ESPN, and for probably not even 30 seconds, they'll speak on Phillip. Oh, he did this and he did that, but they don't, talk about the events that led up to him. The NFL feeding them drugs. They don't talk about, them giving them counseling. You never hear about the NFL offering them counseling. You never hear about any of that type of stuff. They're just like, all right, you 28, you 30 years old, let's get rid of you. All right, you're 30 years old, you're no longer useful for me. And they just throw them like they just, just like an old freaking tire, an old damn worn out tire. That's it. You skinned, your bald, and we just gonna get rid of it. Throw you in the trash. Can't do that. So we're gonna talk about these issues. We're gonna continue to do that. And like I said, man, like we just do things differently here. We're not all about just solely, this player sucks, that player sucks. Oh, you stupid, you stupid. Like we're actually trying to make a difference and actually make people aware, offer people an opportunity, and just point them in the right direction where they can get help. You know what I'm saying? That's what we're trying to do here. So this has been my healing point, and Kevin got something that he wanted to kind of expand on. You guys continue. If you got a show idea for us, yeah, go ahead and hit us up on Instagram.
Hit us on topic, whatever you want us to talk about. This is the show for it. We're gonna hit on those type of topics.
Mm-hmm. So just hit us up if y'all got some, got personal something that prayers. You guys want to talk about.
Mm-hmm. If you need some healing, some personal prayers, so, we got Jew Talk Sports. His father is a pastor.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? If you really need some personal prayer, we can direct you to a place where you can get some real words, of encouragement. We're gonna constantly build you up here at Atlanta Falcons Nation and Lush Exchange. Go ahead, K Styles. We don't hear you, K Styles.
My bad. I was trying to do something else on the computer, but like I said, this is definitely like good talk, because this is another side of that most people don't think of. I mean, at the end of the day, when we look at sports, we have to look at what these corporations, what these teams, what these organizations, even at your own job, you're all you are is just a walk. You're just a walking dollar bill.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And that's the reality of it. Now I know we do it to try to feed our families and set legacies and stuff like that. But we talk about these football players. Like I said, you have a lot of football players that have gone through so much stuff because of these head traumas. So it don't matter if you don't like a guy on the field. It don't matter if it's an athlete you don't like in whatever sport you got. You have to remember, they one play away from losing everything.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't none of this guaranteed.
Mm-hmm.
And you got media, social media people acting like this stuff is a privilege. Like you said about the guy at Ohio State. Them some jackasses. We are, like I said, we have to look at we have to look at sports, and we have to look at sports as one thing. But if you're letting the sport dictate your emotions, I think you got some serious issues right there, because you have to look. We have real life issues that's going on now.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You threaten a man's life because of a game.
Exactly. Like I said, this is a sport. These players know they not finna play this thing until they 60. The average sports athlete, the average athlete, especially in football, basketball, baseball, is retired by the age of 32. 31, 32, 33. So it's up to these organizations to help these athletes. You know,
we need a lot of better health care for these athletes, and that's what we need to push.
Yeah, not even just health care, but like programs to kind of get them on their feet after football. Because remember, these athletes have been playing this sport since they was 3, 4, 5, 6. They don't know nothing else, because in school they not learning nothing in school, because they putting these kids in these programs in school, in college, to where they just get a free ride going all the way through to the NFL. So basketball, baseball. That's it. And if they don't have a program or a function that can help them assimilate into society, that's just like with the military folks. Like I said, with people with the PTSD, like I said, we glad that y'all made it home. Like I said, Navy, Army, Air Force, Special Forces. But you see how a lot of them, a few of them can't assimilate to society because they don't know nothing else. They have been trained to think that one thing. And then that's where all these suicidal thoughts, all this anger, all this sadness come from, because it's like, what can I do now? Because everybody that retires from sports cannot go to ESPN and be an analyst.
They gotta figure out a way, because they're not getting those endorsements anymore. You know, there's a lot of things, and then you on your own with your own mental health,
right?
And you're forgotten about.
Yeah, like you said, that's a problem with fan bases too. Like you said, once you don't have them pads no more, it's like you never existed. So only thing I'm just saying is just basically for these athletes' sake, if you're a fan of a team or athlete, just appreciate them. Give them their flowers while they're here. Because you do not want a tragic story about your favorite athlete. Like I said, even though Kobe died in the helicopter thing, imagine if one of your favorite athletes died from a possible brain injury. Like I said, anything can happen around here. Devon said it best here. The athletes go through it just for our entertainment. It's a gladiator mentality. That's what he said. Are you not entertained after killing everybody?
Oh Lord. That was like a joke that you said that.
It's real though.
That's real though. Absolutely.
We don't. At the end of the day, all the athletes, you have, like I said, show appreciation to the athletes, regardless if you like them or not. Because if you go through half of what they go through outside of what is shown on TV, a lot of people be going mentally insane right now. I'm just gonna leave it at that.
All right. And on that note, people, if you are on Mad Mike Sports, if you're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, my bad. Head on over to Lush Exchange YouTube. Hit us with a like, because this is where I give my motivational videos. If you're, from everything to losing a loved one, to dealing with relationship breakups, just having social anxiety. You know, you're socially awkward. I hit on that type of stuff, you know. So go back and kind of check my playlist for mental health inspiration. Let me know, leave me some feedback. And if there's anything you want me to talk about and touch on a little bit more, I talk about suicide. I talk about all of that in my videos. It's made for, it's like meditation. The way I speak in my video is more calming, so you get the message. It's not, you know how you got motivational videos where they're yelling at you, get up there and get on your feet and shut up and get your ass up and you know, no, I don't yell at you in my motivational videos. I actually do it to calm you, where you're in a relaxed mode before you get to work, before you get on to your day. So on that note, I guess my son coming in the room. So
no, he ain't. He ain't. It's just that when you said that, it just brought out a Hulk Hogan promo in my head. I like, oh God. It's a fight. Let me tell you something, brother. Oh my goodness.
That's right, brother. You gotta get your butt up and get up. It's like, I'm telling you, yelling at me.
Exactly. So yeah, like Ted Sports and Gaming here. Like I said, before we leave the church, we just say amen.
Amen, people. Please speak to somebody, even if it's just me. I'm here. My inbox is open. I will just, if you just need to vent, I will listen to you vent. I'm not biased about whatever you're going through. If you really need an ear, just hit me up about it. Okay, that's what I'm doing. I'm a mental health awareness advocate. So please talk to me. All right, people, let's go. Love y'all. We'll see y'all for Friday Night Madness, where we're gonna be kicking and cutting up a fool on Friday like we normally do for these Falcons, because the schedule came out. We got to talk about all of that. We don't sign another tight end and a guard. We got to get into all of that. Like, we got all these tight ends on the roster right about now. This Arthur Smith is a tight end fool, people. We're going to get into that tomorrow. So y'all tune in 8 p.m. tomorrow. I'm trying to get a celebrity on. Me and him been dodging messages, but we're gonna find that we're gonna get that person on sooner or later. He's another former NFL Falcons player. We're trying to get him on the show. So look, tune in, people. We got the schedule out now, so it is officially 2021 NFL season. Let's go, people. And we out.
Yeah, go home. Just gotta get the
hell out of here. I might drop another video tonight, people. Just for the news, but tune in tomorrow, y'all. And we out.